Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Real People, Real Estate, where we sit down with real people right here in Western Massachusetts who are doing awesome things in real estate. And I am joined today by a very special guest, Micki Sanderson. How are you doing today?
Happy to be here on a beautiful fall day.
Yeah.
Happy to have this opportunity to talk about real estate.
Whatever we talk about.
People, or whatever you throw at me.
Exactly. Well, I was actually just taking a look at all the work that we had done together, and we've helped over 50 people, and this was just for the last, I think, 6 years.
Yeah.
Successfully buy houses together. That's a pretty, that's a lot of chatting we've done together.
A lot of, Lindsay, I need you, please help.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
And, I think what rings true in every experience that I've had, what your buyers have said, is just your approach is so caring and also expert at the same time, right? So professional and caring. And I think that comes from, I was reading your bio and it's extensive. So just a couple things I'm going to pull out. Your background in teaching, I definitely want to hit on that a little bit. And then you've been in real estate now for 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Right?
Yep.
That's amazing.
I said 2 decades the other day. I'm like, 2 decades. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Feels good though.
On this show, everybody's 29. So it's funny that you started when you were
4. I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to focus today just on, you're so involved also in the community and especially in Hatfield, planning boards, everything. So I wanted to focus on how important local is.
Yeah.
We've seen this kind of shift where some national organizations are merging and blending and, trying to do their thing.
Yeah.
But we're so boots on the ground here in Western Mass. So
True.
What does that local service mean to you?
First of all, I think I take it from the vibe. I take it from, it's kind of who we are. I think that you could say a lot of people who live in the Valley kind of live and breathe and think and feel community. Yeah. And so it's easy to kind of pick that up and carry it into my job. It's easy to do the mechanics of real estate, right? It's easy to do the mechanics of lending. Yeah. But to me, it translates to the caring aspect, the taking the intentional, right? Taking those people, whether they're a referral or quite honestly just a call or a text. I found you on the internet. That happens, right? But to define what it means to be a caring individual in our field, I think sets us apart. It's responsiveness. It's proactive support. Yeah. It's pulling together the team, right? We talk about this all the time. Yeah. It's knowing who's going to also care for them. Yeah. And there are those that won't. Sure. So we know who those are in our field. Right. There's accessibility. Yeah. Pick up the phone. We both work 7 days a week. Right. That's caring. Yeah. The responsiveness, the attentiveness to detail, and wanting our clients to be successful sets us apart. Yeah. I think that these people are going to be our neighbors. Right. We're going to bump into them at the co-op. Right. Our kids are going to, or my grandkids maybe. I don't know. We'll be, we're in this together. Yeah. And there's, as I said in the beginning, I think that defines who the Valley is to a large extent. Yeah. So I think of myself as an extension of that definition of being local. Yeah. So, right. And I'm a teacher. So I was just thinking that. So tell me from your teaching past, what skills you feel like you draw on. That's a great question. Interestingly, there's a lot of people in real estate that used to be educators. And whether it doesn't matter who I'm working with in terms of on which side of the transaction, there's so much that I've learned over 20 years, and that's not just who might be on a particular board in Williamsburg if you're going to go for a special permit. It's the process, and our field is dynamic. It's not static. We have to be. We're constantly learning, and then we are then facilitating and engaging and teaching our clients. And I really love that part of my job. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a new bylaw that's passed in Hatfield that I happen to know about, or where a certain old landfill might be. You know, the things that's in our brains that I get to share, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you're sort of already alluding to some of these, but where do you think specifically in Western Mass we have kind of these unique little towns and pockets and zoning boards? And I mean, how important is being local and understanding those to what you do?
Really, really important. Just 2 days ago, I have a referral, and I like to have conversations initially, you know, to ascertain needs, wants, and wishes. And these folks were very zeroed in on zip codes. And so part of that is like, okay, I understand why you might want this particular zip code, but let's dial down a little bit more. Let's look at neighborhoods, because a certain neighborhood on that side of the zip code is going to be very different. And you've already told me, as I've listened and processed what you've said, what your needs are. Maybe we should look over here.
Right.
So there's that, it's that gentle digesting of their, who they are as individuals, which goes right back to the local thing. Because if you're not invested in the communities, if you're not invested in truly how people feel and think, you're not going to be successful here. And I've always felt that way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And if people do, you know, they, especially folks who are relocating, and we've had quite a bit of that recently in our area. So how do you help someone, you know, maybe they call you and they're selling a house in Boston and they want to come out here and they're trying to figure out which neighborhood, which area. What do you suggest their first step is?
Well, now it's getting in the car with me. And I give those tours.
Oh, awesome.
And I make it a specific point to not focus too much on distractions, right? So we're driving around, and I honestly want them to feel. I want them to, you know, how does it feel when we're driving down Elm Street in Northampton? Does it feel too busy? Does it feel like it's familiar? And invariably what happens, and sometimes those tours are like 2.5 hours.
Can I take one of those with you, or do I have to buy a house?
Sure. We'll stop for tea along the way, that's for sure. But I love when you invest the time to really get to know people, or in this case, do a tour. And at the end of the tour, there's like light bulbs that go off in their head. And then I'm asking for feedback, and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea that neighborhood was there." That feels like we want to really focus on that area or that specific neighborhood. And that's part of feedback. Is also I think that listening is an underrated part of our job, and I find out so much when people are just the flow, right? The conversation is just flowing, and I'm asking follow-up questions, and they're just, and then people like to talk about themselves. So you give opportunities for them to do that, and I can only say the end result is usually really happy for
so great.
For clients and their families, and that's and getting referrals from families, and how that all cycles is, again, it's a very satisfying part of my job.
I'm sure people's children and parents and cousins and friends, it's really nice when that happens.
All your spheres of influence, and then getting all that.
Exactly. Do you have any specific client stories that kind of stand out as far as like where somebody really needed your local expertise?
Yes, it just happened. It's closing today.
Okay, well, congratulations. Knock on wood, and congratulations. Is that on record?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Awesome.
This one required a lot of perseverance, and that's actually part of my tagline. But these folks came to me as a referral. They are it's a fantastic brand new organization called Branching Tree. They're out of Eastern Mass, and just a couple of families found that they weren't getting the services for their young adult autistic children. And they started their search in the Boston area, but quickly determined and found out that they couldn't quite afford the Boston area. So they looked in the Worcester area, and then lo and behold, I'm showing them properties out here. And their needs were pretty specific. And then when we really got into what their needs were, they needed multiple buildings on one lot. Which presents a lot of challenges with our bylaws and our the zoning, et cetera. So helping them navigate Williamsburg town, the town of Williamsburg, the personalities and the process. was a big part of what I did for them. And there's also some overlap now with the city of Northampton helping out Williamsburg, because they're a small town. Right? There are a lot of lay people that don't have diplomas in planning, and so that was. And that's closing today.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be approved. They're going to get their special permit, and they're going to have a house that exists. And then they're going to create little breezeway walkways to 2 other structures.
Wow.
And these young adults are going to have their own homes. With caretakers and family to come and go. But it's on this beautiful bucolic 12-acre parcel. And there's a pool. So they're going to be able to do horticulture and swimming, and they're hoping to expand.
Wow.
So
and
they're coming to the valley
to do that.
Yeah. You know how things work.
Right, exactly.
Right? How things work.
Who to go to and how to get it done. Have you mentioned a couple of times and needs, wants, and wishes list, right? And it sounds like I'm having this recurring theme in my own life recently of being curious. And it seems like that's what you're really doing with people, is like you're taking the time to actually care enough to be curious, to listen to what they want, and then probably from your teacher side, help them figure out, here's what I'm hearing, right? Now let's go and make it happen. Has there ever been a scenario where you felt like you were hearing the needs, wants, and wishes list a totally different way than what they originally kind of thought as buyers they needed or wanted, and they were able to come to their terms? Or are people usually pretty clear on what they want?
Most of the time, if you take the time to really tease out the conversation, because these conversations sometimes last an hour and a half. And to answer your question, most often not, because I feel when the conversation begins, it's more listening and it's asking the follow-up questions. And almost always the needs are pretty known. But then they start to have fun with the wants and wishes.
So that's where it can really come out.
That's when it really becomes real. And then I love the dynamic sometimes of the couple or the partners, or or even father, mother, son. Kind of correcting them, correcting each other. No, you said you wanted a screened porch. And then I was like, well, it's not really that important. And then you're just like that. You're absorbing that. And listening and taking notes and what you do. And then I really feel like by the time we get into looking at things, that I have a clear direction. Not that it doesn't take some feedback looping and some monitoring. That's an educational phrase. Monitor and adjust. It's actually a good life phrase.
Yes. Monitor and adjust.
Monitor and adjust.
We never have to adjust ever, especially with kids, right? It's always smooth.
So that's a skill. And it requires patience. And then always knowing too that nobody's life is static either. Our industry is not static, but people's lives are not static.
Exactly.
And they might start their search. This happens. They might start their search looking at X price range, and then before you know it, they're like, well, a couple months go by. And they say, we might want to be a bit more conservative. We might want to do something else with some of our assets and things like that, and then you shift, right? But by then, I hope I know them so well, that it's easy.
And probably, I would imagine the right people have to be around the table too, right? If you start off talking with just say it's a party of 2 or 3 or whoever's buying the house, or maybe a strong, influential extended family or whatever.
Happens.
Does that happen sometimes? Because then that might change those needs and wants and wishes too.
Sure.
So now from the selling side, when you're working with sellers who are listing, you must have some fun with the marketing, right? Your marketing is tremendous. I mean, your new website is unbelievable. What's can you tell us the URL again?
It's SandersonProperties.com.
SandersonProperties.com. Okay, we'll link that.
More dynamic, and it's custom built, so it's very user friendly. I have the cute little fern logo. That was fun.
Well, and it's very you. I feel like it fits the education, the local, the whole personality. So that's all really important, whether buying or selling, but especially I think on the listing side, because you know how to market. And so are there specific local, any type of marketing that you're using where you're like, this property really fits this specific niche?
It might surprise you. I do a lot of old-fashioned stuff. And part of when I sit down with a seller, and I'm being interviewed, and I always go in thinking there's a couple other people, that are going to come through the door.
Sure.
The first thing I make sure I tell them is that, it's all not just this, flashy whiz bang, social media stuff. And I feel like that's certainly a component. But I think part of what happened and what's happening for me after 20 years of doing this is that my knowledge of the people and the trust that's been built over the last 20 years translates so well into old-fashioned marketing. It's actually picking up the phone.
Yeah.
It's having conversations.
Belly, yeah.
As we do, right?
Yeah.
And you can post things on social media.
Yeah.
I find that a little impersonal. So going back to the old-fashioned way is, I think, pretty helpful. And I still like doing open houses.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I like to do that, because it is kind of the old-fashioned thing, right? You meet people coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't care if neighbors come in.
Right.
I want the neighbors to come in.
Right.
I want them to talk about the properties. I actually want them to tell me more about why they love living there.
Right.
And the connections you make at an open house almost invariably lead to something else.
Yeah.
And I can give my clients so much great feedback, and that typically just sets off a great transaction. I don't know how else to really put that.
Yeah. Well, and you learn more about the local area, like you said, even if neighbors are coming in. What's your favorite thing? Where do you go get your coffee from here? Or that's really cool.
How often did the school bus go by in the morning? Little things like that the nuances,
People just don't think about.
That you pick up on.
Huh.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a scenario in which, some little detail like that was a really important factor? Like, I don't know, people sometimes ask about ambulance routes or bus routes or, or even a draw to a particular, like what's the biggest need right now that people seem to want when it comes to local?
It is still walkability.
Okay.
And that really became pronounced beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
It is still very much, if I collected all my notes from the myriad conversations I've had with new clients, walkability is in almost everybody's need category.
Wow.
Here and there, I'll get somebody who wants to live in the woods.
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
I can find that.
Yeah.
But the it's community, it's connection.
Yeah.
And especially I'd have to say across all segments of the buyer market. It's not younger families that might want, to have a neighborhood. It's also older people that want to walk to the Y.
Yeah.
Want to know their neighbors.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go right back to what I said in the beginning about I feel like that is definitely a definition or a part of who we are in the Valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why people move here.
It is.
That's why people always want to move here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really so important. I mean, we hear it time and time again. It's like we do have this perfect little
We're kind of in this sweet little bubble.
Yeah, I mean, the hospitals, the college system, the economics, the political environment, the nature, arts. We could go on and on.
I know.
And you've had kids in the school systems, dogs, where you probably know where every walking area is, right? Yeah. And you've sat on all these different boards and planning committees, and really just dive into every aspect. Yeah. That's awesome. So instead, I think a lot of buyers now, they go online, right? And they end up connecting with some agent who's probably from maybe a larger company because they go to certain websites that I'm not going to call out on the show right now. But, and then they almost accidentally might get connected to someone because they plug their information into some form.
Yes.
And you've spent so much time now talking about how important a local team is too. Yes. So, how do you keep people in your local fold when their instinct now is just go online and take the path of least resistance?
Yeah. Are you talking about in the beginning of the process? Or you're talking about
I guess it could be at any time. Okay. Well, I was thinking beginning, but you are right, because just like if you have an ailment, you start going on WebMD sometimes in the middle of the process. Yeah.
I think that those people that might be jumping to that easier platform, if you will, or lending website.
Sure.
I'd like to think that they're doing that just as a preemptive or preliminary exploration. it's easy, not easy, that's the wrong word. When they might get in touch with me, I think after a brief conversation, just explaining some of the salient points that we've just discussed, it's easy to shift them and have them see the benefits of moving. Okay, they might say, I have this happens, I have a pre-approval from X.
Sure.
Did it online on Saturday night,
Right.
I'm good to go.
Right.
And then you gently tell them the advantages
Sure.
of perhaps, that's great, that's a foundation.
Yep.
Good for you, you've started the process.
Yep.
But using that as a catalyst to educate and tell them, kind of bring them back into the fold a little bit, educate them and say, that's great, would you be willing to try this avenue?
Sure.
Or this path, or talk to this person.
Right.
And you know I have called your pre-approval the gold ticket before.
Oh, well,
a
thank
little
you.
Willy Wonka reference.
Thank you.
It's true.
So nice.
It's very true.
I didn't even plug you to say that. But yeah, and then that's so once you
Yeah.
have that conversation, then you can make the introductions to the local
and
folks that
you're
you
building
trust.
trust.
Yeah.
And what the beauty of that is that things that I say or how I guide them in terms of just my experience and my expertise, but also how I can depend on the team. And that makes my job so much easier. You know, and then I get comments like, "Oh my gosh, that was the best referral.
Yeah.
You know, that inspector was amazing."
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I love this because you feel very confident in the fact that, you know, local will remain and stay strong. And regardless of the, you know, move to the internet or ease of use or anything, it's that authenticity, boots on the ground.
One of my favorite words.
Yeah, connection.
Yes.
Well, and it's true because when someone calls you, they're getting a person who has real lived experience here and knows the ins and outs. Any other words of wisdom or fun stories where you've really drawn on the local?
Hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I know what's this. Every transaction that I've done, this is real, has been different from another. The learning that I still get to do is fun. It's invigorating to me.
Yeah.
Problem solving is a massive part of this job.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't say there's one little story, but every single transaction, you know, when it comes to the closing table, such as today's, there are things you can learn, there are things you can take away and make yourself better.
Yeah.
And it might sound corny, not just a better realtor, but a better person.
Yeah.
And that's, it's become more of a fulfilling career than I ever thought it would be. And I guess that's where I'd leave it.
That is really, it's so true. Every person's different. Every house is different. Every title exam is different, whatever comes up.
Yeah.
And you can take that with you.
Yeah.
I like that about not just a better agent, but a better person.
Yeah. And every day's a fresh start. Every day. You know, I have my little talk to myself.
Yep.
And
take your walk.
Take my walk. Get my day started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. We've got a couple of like rapid fire fun questions that we can wrap up with.
Go ahead, hit me.
Because you've probably been in hundreds of houses at this point, thousands of houses at this point. Yeah. So what's your favorite room in a house?
I'm not going to say the bathroom.
Is it the bathroom?
No, I'm not going to say the bathroom.
You'd be the first person to say it.
I know.
If you did, I would want to know the reason for it. So.
Okay, that's a good question. I think mudrooms are telling.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I like a good mudroom.
A good mudroom.
Yeah.
Anything specific
I assume most
you're
people
looking
say
for?
the living room.
Most people have actually said
kitchen?
the kitchen. Yes, kitchen.
I don't know. I feel like mudrooms are real.
Yeah.
And
that's
kitchens
great.
can be, you know,
Yeah.
kind of staged.
Yeah.
But mudrooms is kind of where you know what's going on.
I feel like there's a lot of stories in mudrooms.
Plus, I'm so happy the mudroom thing came back.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as an old New Englander,
Yeah.
it was a deal.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the mudroom.
Yeah.
Right?
You need one here.
Mud, dirt,
Yes.
snow.
Exactly.
And then they had this period of construction where it wasn't really a thing. And now it seems like everybody who is building or renovating mudroom. Yeah.
What's your first memory?
So
I'm
funny.
still stuck on the bathroom comment. I'm just, somebody else come on as a guest and say bathroom's your favorite and we can talk about that. When you think back to little Micki, what was your first memory, childhood memory of that home ownership actually exists? Like,
wait, me owning a home?
yeah, or just that people own homes in general.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a child, Natick, Mass, childhood home. My parents were very proud homeowners. And I'm not remembering that I ever heard them say that.
Yeah.
But, and I have photographs to help my memory, obviously.
Yeah.
But cute little red ranch with some scallop trim.
Yeah.
And I remember them just being so prideful
Yeah.
of owning that house.
Yeah.
And if I were putting all those pieces together, it's because a hardworking blue-collar family, they came from experiences where they didn't all, their
Wasn't
parents
always attainable. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe they, so that it's
Yeah.
it's a profound memory, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
They were so happy to host holiday dinners and
Yeah.
family stuff, not big ones, but
Yeah.
just proud.
There's that pride and ownership, which
That's right.
goes to
And it was
community.
my parents.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Any last parting advice for, let's stick to the buyer side,
Okay.
for buyers right
All right.
now in this market?
Yeah.
Any last parting words of wisdom?
I would say one of the prevailing comments that I'm pleased to have buyers tell me that I would advise buyers to do is don't wait to educate yourself,
Yeah.
and don't wait for the perfect market, because there is no such thing.
Yeah.
And we hear it all the time. Well, interest rates might go down. Well, they might not.
Right.
And this is kind of a life philosophy of mine too. You only really know today. And so take today and make your decisions based on today.
Yeah.
And it's never too early to do homework. It's never too early to kind of challenge yourself
Yeah.
and dream a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big part of realizing, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the visualization. It's the imagining yourself.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself out there, take a little risk, because sometimes it's scary.
Yep.
Take a little risk, then it can all come back tenfold.
I love that. That's the teacher in you.
All right.
I feel like now I can go out and achieve the
Do you want to
day.
get your
Let's
real
do
estate
it.
license?
Yeah, well, no, that's for you. That's your side of the puzzle.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Oh,
joining
it was a
us
pleasure.
today.
That was a lot of fun.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. Glad to
And
talk
thank
to
you, everybody, for being here on Real People of Real Estate. We hope you are really inspired by Micki's story. And if you're interested in being a guest, please let me know. We'd love to have you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.